Pride, it is simply living for self. And it's a huge spectrum. Self-promotion, self-pity, self-preservation, self-protection, self. True humility gives no thought to self. Many think humility is self-abasement, but it is not. That is still self, and it's still pride. Putting yourself down is false humility because you're still focused on yourself. My husband said it best in his testimony. He said, I didn't think I had any pride. He had self-pity. So how could that be prideful? And therein lies the deception of pride. True humility has an upward focus and an outward focus, not inward. Focus on God, focus on others. There are seasons required of each of us where we retreat for self-evaluation, self-analysis, introspection, but those seasons should be fairly brief, not lasting more than a year, and they should result in stepping into long seasons of selfless focus on God, which is upward, and others, which is outward. When a person stumbles into a revelation that their behavior is harming others, that revelation should lead to some sort of action. If it doesn't, the heart becomes hardened over time, and change becomes much more difficult. A seared conscience is the result. So when someone has a revelation that they are harming themselves or other people, a season of introspection followed by an action, what are you going to do about it, is the healthiest response to that revelation. Therapy, counseling, a support group, addiction recovery, deliverance, etc. There are many ways to take action. What are you going to do about it? Revelation comes in many ways. Other people may tell you that your behavior is destructive, divisive, abusive. God may show you, and the light bulb just comes right on. Sometimes it's our circumstances that speak. Are you at rock bottom? Did you get fired? Do you struggle with dysfunction in relationships? Are you living on the street? Rock bottom is a huge spectrum. It's different for everyone. But circumstances are a powerful voice in someone coming to the end of themselves. Narcissism is often thought of as an excessive preoccupation or admiration of self, like conceit or arrogance. But in reality, it is rooted in deep insecurity from childhood wounding. And true narcissism is entangled with a demonic shame, fear, control, cycle, stronghold caused by early trauma. It can be either trauma A, the absence of something good, in other words, neglect, or trauma B, the presence of something bad, like a war, abuse, or natural disaster. Trauma, whether in the form of A or B, breaks basic trust, and the child begins to live a life rooted and grounded in self-preservation, which is a preoccupation with self, but not in the way that most people think. It is not arrogance, it is not conceit, but it is 100% a life filtered through self. We are all born selfish, self-centered, and this is pride. Pride is nothing more than self. Christians have an opportunity to overcome this in Christ. The world, however, has no chance to overcome this without Jesus, because it's human nature. Trauma just succeeds in exacerbating this human condition. So if I'm going to break up the issue of narcissism into bite-sized nuggets, this is the first. Pride is a human condition from birth, and it is a shame, fear, control, stronghold that most, if not all, human beings are essentially born into. And early childhood experiences, especially traumatic ones, have the power to push the child much deeper into the narcissistic spectrum. The greater the trauma, the greater the neglect in childhood, the greater the damage the enemy can do to the child and to others through that child when they become adults. So that is nugget number 1. Understanding that all are born missing the mark. Unaddressed trauma pushes the mark much farther from the target, and a revelation is needed, whether it comes from God, from other people, or our circumstances speaking to us. That change is needed, and action is required to get healthy, or wholthy, as my husband likes to say. That was nugget number 1. Have a great day. More nuggets to follow. Bye.